What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Bull Season 6, Episode 7, Confidence Man. So this is going to be, obviously, a little bit different type of setup. It's still where I normally sit, just instead of the camera being here, decided to go with the camera here. And I hope it's not too distracting. It works better for what setup I've got right now to keep it this way. And it might change again soon. I don't know. But anyways, focusing on this episode, it was good. It was enjoyable. I actually had a lot of fun with it, which is definitely a step up for this season. However, the one problem that I do have is very similar to the issue that I had with the first episode this season, which is it's an interesting concept that I feel like they've already rushed through. Because I kind of would have liked to see what happens if maybe Bull has to go to prison. Maybe Bull has to try to help the team while he's trying to solve his own case behind bars. Something along those lines. Something to really add an extra element for this season, even without the idea that this is the final season. With just thinking from a perspective of what would be interesting to see, that would kind of be an interesting concept. He's trying to still help the team because they still need to take on cases to stay in business. But what if Bull's now in prison? So now he has to try to talk to them, during visits and stuff, and give his thoughts and opinions. Maybe they have to show him videos, but that's kind of hard because maybe there are rules against it. I don't know. Just something to add an extra element for the rest, or not even the rest of the season. This just could be for the rest of this half of the season. But we're episode 7, and we've already knocked out this running story that we've had of, well, who framed Bull? And it was pretty straightforward. I will say I didn't suspect Carol the most. Honestly, my biggest suspicion was the wife of the CEO, because they were so focused on him being the one who did it and him being the guilty party. I knew it wasn't going to be that because Scooby-Doo logic, and that's kind of how a lot of their mysteries are written, unfortunately. But my suspicion was on the wife. It made the most sense, and even whenever they found the information that she was the doctor, for some reason, that's probably where it should have clicked, where we want to have a reveal moment. We want to have that, wait, who? And then Carol walks in and, oh, it was her the whole time. So knowing that reveal was happening, I should have suspected whenever they announced that, oh, the wife is the one that performed the surgery on the kid. I should have known at that point, okay, so now they're making it look like it's her, so it's not going to be her, it's going to be Carol. So, but either way, I knew it wasn't going to be the CEO, but they spent so much time focused on him. He's the one that did it. And I was just kind of like, okay, you guys are idiots. Clearly, he's not going to be the one that did it. Even if he had a hand in it, he's not the one that sent the money. He's not the one that bribed the guy. He probably had somebody do it for him. It's not going to be that simple. But it was even simpler than I thought it was going to be. I honestly also had the idea that maybe the CEO was responsible, but somebody else was going to fall on the sword for him. Or somebody else, again, he hired or told somebody to go bribe this juror, and so he's going to technically get away with it because he's not the one that did it. This person did it. He's just still responsible in a way, and it was going to be more so kind of a long-running story this season of how are we supposed to take down this corrupt CEO whenever he has all these people doing things for him, doing illegal things for him, and they're willing to fall on their sword if they ever get caught. They're not willing to give him up. It could have been a fun season as far as that's concerned. Maybe the story kind of goes away for a little bit. Maybe Danny, she's gone again because, I don't know, for whatever reason, the actress isn't available. Maybe it's because she's trying to do some research on him and trying to get some more information about him. But as it is, he's not guilty. He's completely innocent. He's actually a decent human being. That's what's weird about it. He's not even a decent human being. He's still an asshole who tried to get out of paying all these people for the injuries that his device caused. So I don't know. It's one of those episodes where I had a good time. It was definitely a good episode, but there's still potential that I feel is missed by finishing up that story in this episode. Now we're done. Bull is off the hook. Charges are dropped. Now we can just go back to, well, let's have another episode where something random happens and we have to solve the problem. And it's just not as interesting to me. Now I don't know what I have to look forward to. And that's something that again, going in with the mindset of this is the final season, that also plays into it, because now I'm sitting here thinking, well, the final season, what are we going to end on? But even without that, even just going in thinking it's a normal season, I want to have something to grasp onto. I want to have a story that I can watch develop throughout the season. And we're just kind of like, nope, we're done. We had this story that spanned a few episodes on the outside, on the brink of things, and now it's the front and center focus of the episode, and we're done. Move along. And I just, maybe it's also because I just came off of watching Criminal Minds Evolution, which definitely was a lot more focused on one whole story for the entire season. Maybe that plays into it as well, because my mindset is now more so focused on a longer running story than episodic adventures. But I still feel like there was good potential here for something where you could have still had your episodic adventures, throughout the season, while this story was kind of brimming on the outside. Things were happening, things were changing. Again, maybe Bull ends up getting found guilty for whatever reason. Now he has to be in prison, and they're trying to appeal his case, something along those lines. And all those potential stories are now just gone, and who knows what we're going to do next. But outside of that, a couple of the highlights of this episode for me. First of all, I feel like I did like not only Olivia, but also the AUSA that was trying the case. I did appreciate both of them more as the episode went along, because Olivia has been kind of back and forth for the past few episodes. The end of last episode, I did feel like she had a good moment of, I'm going to fight with you on this because I don't like the fact that somebody tried to cheat. I did like that moment, and then I thought she had a couple of good moments in this episode as well, where she had to be the hard ass, where the team normally colors outside of the lines. Obviously, they got themselves into trouble. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of a repercussion for Danny and Taylor for what they did after not heeding her instructions. But obviously, Bull was able to just sort of write the whole incident off and get the CEO to not press charges. And that, again, it feels very bland in that sense, because they didn't listen to Olivia. There were consequences, but not really. And I think the show does that a lot, where somebody does something wrong or messes up something, but it's never unsalvageable. And I think at some point we need to see something that is unsalvageable, or else what are the consequences? These characters can just keep making mistakes and not suffer any sort of repercussions. And I don't feel like that's how life works most of the time. But I do think, though, Olivia, she was a good counterbalance to where the team was willing to go outside the lines, try to do this and this and this to solve the case. And she's like, no, we just need to stay focused here. We need to stay focused and not do anything that could hurt our case. And then I thought the AUSA was also, he seemed like a genuinely good guy. I do like the fact that they gave him a dog too, because it's like, it makes, at least for me, it makes me feel like most of the audience is going to like him a bit more now that he has a dog. But I like the fact that in the end, he also wants to get to the truth. He hears what Bull has to say. He sees the information. He sees the questions that have been raised. And he doesn't just go, no, I'm here to win the case. I don't care about the truth. And it's nice, because sometimes the opponents they go up against are not like that. They seem just soulless, and I just want to win. And I feel like that can be disappointing whenever you have those moments, because you don't get that sort of catharsis at the end of the episode where, no, they were just doing their jobs. They're not actually assholes. It's more so, nope, they're doing this job because they are assholes and they feel like they can be. But the other moment in this episode that I wanted to bring up that I thought was really, really well done is the voir dire, whenever Bull has this inkling about this juror that he feels like he's not a good one for our cause. He's not a good one for what we're trying to do. And Olivia is very adamant, no, this guy is who we want. He will see through the holes in the prosecution's case. And I just like the fact that Chunk is the one that gets up and sort of puts Bull in his place, asks the question, gets the doctor to give an answer that shows Bull, nope, you're wrong. This is exactly the type of guy, because he's all about second guessing. As a surgeon, he wants to make sure, because he nearly made a horrible mistake in the past and then didn't. And I don't know, I like the fact that Chunk had a moment to sort of get Bull to shut up, because Bull has been so, I need to be in control. I'm the smartest one in the room. Let me do this because I know what I'm doing. And I'm glad there was finally a moment that got him to go, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about this. It was just so I know I've already used this word before, but cathartic, just to see that moment after all of the moments of frustration with Bull earlier this season. So, but yeah, all in all, good episode. Just it makes me a little worried and a little disappointed about what we're going to see for the rest of the season. But as it is, that's about it for this one. So on to the next episode. I'll see you there. And now episode 8, Snowed In. So if this were any other just random episode where you have this whole case going on and you have this conclusion where everything just sort of works out all hunky-dory and stuff, I'd probably just not be a fan of it. It would probably be kind of disappointing, a little, it was okay. Something about making it set at Christmas, though. I don't know what it is, but something about Christmas time just makes me more forgiving of all the sappiness and all of the, oh, everything worked out okay. It's just the Christmas spirit. I don't know what it is about it, but it is infectious, and it made me feel something at the end of this episode. Just everything involved, how the story wrapped up between Chunk and his nemesis, how the story wrapped up between Taylor and Marissa. I don't know why I forgot her name for a minute. How things worked out for Danny, the guy showing up. Oh, we're going to get you there to that flight. I don't know. It was all kind of goofy. Bull showing up with the tree, which admittedly was kind of funny that it was a definitely smaller, more barren looking tree. But still, him just showing up with the tree at the front door. All of it was just so sappy and ridiculous. But again, something about setting it at Christmas time and making it a part of that Christmas feeling. I loved it. It was all enjoyable, and I was having a good time, and I was getting a little, not emotional, but I just had that happy feeling inside as I'm watching it. So I don't know what it is about it, but something about Christmas, it brings that out in you. Outside of that, though, I mean, realistically looking at this episode, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty, I don't want to say dull, but kind of, especially after the last episode and all of the intensity of the last episode and what could possibly happen to Bull and Izzy and all of that. We get to this episode and it's so sappy and cheesy that it feels so different. It feels like we just suddenly jumped to an entirely different show from the last one. So yeah, it was okay. Not much else to say about it, honestly. I will say the way the story ended with Chunk and his nemesis, and for some reason the name of his nemesis is not coming to me, but the way that story wrapped up was kind of hilarious. Just this whole episode, it's setting up for this huge rivalry. Even when they first met, I'm thinking, oh yeah, things are going to go down. And then all of a sudden, as Chunk is talking to him about a plea deal, it takes a very sudden turn. It was especially the little adjusting his ties. Like, oh, come here, let me get that. I'm like, oh, okay. So there might be something there, is what they're implying now. At least that's the sense I was getting from it. So something about that just it made me laugh, that what I thought was setting up for Chunk getting a chance to get back at this guy who gave him hell seemingly during his college years. I really thought it was going to turn into just this thing where he finally gets to one up him and kind of gets that moment of, yeah, I did it. And instead it turned into something entirely different that I was not expecting. So I don't know, it's something kind of funny about that to me. But yeah, all in all, it was not a great episode, but it was an enjoyable one. It's one that when I think about some of these shows that don't have the most astounding writing, it's very bare bones, I think of episodes like this is why I still watch shows like this. Because honestly, if I was coming here to get deep stories with deep characters and really profound, thought-provoking writing, I'm not going to get that from most CBS shows, to be perfectly honest. But I do think they're good shows if you want to have a good time, if you want to enjoy yourself. That's why I've been disappointed with some of the episodes this season. That's why NCIS for the seasons before the one I just currently watched, that's why those were disappointing me, because they weren't that enjoyable. They weren't fun. They felt stupid. So I think this is the type of episode that I would point to and say, yeah, it's not that deep. You can probably predict where all the story beats are going to go from the very beginning, but it's a good time. It's a good time with good characters, and it's fun. So yeah, that's about it for this one, though. So on to the final of these three. I'll see you there. And finally, episode 9, False Positive. Oh boy. Well, after 2 pretty good episodes, unfortunately, this one is right back down into the shitter because, oy vey. It started off, I thought it was going to be an interesting premise, but so quickly became mired in the age-old issue that I've had with a lot of these shows where essentially it became so focused on their moral, which is racism is bad. No shit. Most people already know this. I'm so sick of, I've seen this in so many shows. They've done this moral so often, and that's it. I'm just getting sick of it. You know, when you've seen it so much, I'm almost numb to it at this point, where when the episode first started and it was a black guy that got shot by the cops, I'm sitting there going, okay, great, here we go again. Because we had a similar issue in another episode where a black person was shot by a cop, and it was this whole ordeal, and oh my God. And then it turned out the weird twist in that one was that the girl was actually, the cop that shot the guy was actually dating him, and it was part of they're trying to have some settlement for him, and it was actually a con. It was weird. Anyways, but when it first happened, I thought that's what it was going to be about. And I will say, I did think it was odd that they didn't even announce themselves as NYPD. Like, they shot him without announcing themselves. That to me felt more so where the focus should be, because the guy sees 2 guys running up on him with guns. He's going to pull out his gun to defend himself if he has one. So the fact that you didn't announce yourself as cops, I felt like that was going to be, they made a mistake in that sense. But it didn't end up being about that. NYPD paid the mother for damages. I know that sounds awful. And then it became about this AI facial recognition software. And I found that very interesting. I'm thinking, okay, cool. So this sounds a lot more poignant, especially now considering how much AI is being used in a sense of, I mean, I'm somebody that I'm getting sick of how much it's being used, because not only is it robbing people of jobs, but also it's pretty dangerous. We've seen it used to create these videos and these pictures that look more and more real the better it gets at creating pictures. And that could easily be used for any sorts of misinformation. So I'm sitting here going, this could be fun. And then all of a sudden, Chunk brings up the line, yeah, it happens more to people of color than anybody else. I'm like, okay. So no, we're just going back to, hey, racism is bad. In fact, it's so bad that even machines are racist. And we got to stop those racist machines. Okay, sure, whatever. Here we are again, back down in the age-old, hey guys, don't be racist. Okay, guess what? The people you need to be telling that to, first of all, they're not going to listen to you. Second of all, they're not watching this show, because one of your leads is a black man. They're not going to watch the show because of that. So congratulations, you're speaking to nobody that you want to be speaking to. It's so ridiculous, and it drags down episodes like this that could have been something more interesting, talking about something that is, again, more poignant, the overuse of AI software and how it's damaging, and how, especially because it's not good enough at the moment, but even when it does get good enough to get used, we still need to be not relying on it as much. And this is a great example as to why. Yeah, the AI software, sure, it said, hey, this is your guy, but you need to do the checking yourself. Just because the AI software did this program and whatever, that doesn't matter. Because AI has to be programmed by somebody. So at the end of the day, there can still be mistakes. There can still be issues with it. And on top of all of that, I guess I'm not going to get into the whole AI being used in the arts industry right now, but the fact that that is even still being considered is just ridiculous to me. But moving on from that, though, the rest of it was fine, I guess, because the other part of the episode is focused on Bull and Marissa. I will say the story in this episode was not great, and in fact, it was more frustration with me as far as Bull is concerned, because again, he's just completely ignorant. And it's weird that somebody who does have such a psychological brain, like he should be seeing what she's going through. He should be seeing what she's dealing with, and he should at least be recognizing that there's something wrong. But instead, it's almost like he just ignores it. And I get that, I mean, sometimes people who study psychology, sometimes people who do have that sort of mindset, occasionally they can either overinterpret or they can miss whenever something's close to them. because I think it's sort of a balancing act. You don't want to read too much into the people you're close with, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and all of that. Because if you get too much into it, then you're basically reading every single thing. It's something that, again, the show that I talked about before, Lie to Me, it's something that they tackled because the main character was constantly reading into everything his ex-wife was doing when they were married, and that's why they ended up splitting. And it's a good, interesting point to talk about. So I think sometimes the psychologist can overcorrect and basically try not to read too much into what their loved ones are feeling, their close friends and stuff, because I think they are concerned about overanalyzing and losing that part of it. So maybe that's what they're trying to imply here, but it feels almost over the top as far as Bull is concerned. Like, he really is just not paying attention to anything Marissa is saying or doing or how she's feeling. And it's just, he's an idiot. He's really frustratingly an idiot. So that there's more of that in this episode. There's a lot more of that, and it was definitely very annoying to get through. However, I will say, I'm kind of glad that the episode ended the way it did. Obviously, with Marissa leaving, I hope this is not like a she's off the team type of thing. I hope we still see her, or I guess not off the team, but off the show. I hope we do still see her around, because I do like Marissa. She's one of probably, I guess it's between her and Chunk for my favorite characters, because they're both really good. Danny is also up there. Bull, this season especially, has taken a big hit as far as my favorite character, and fortunately Taylor's just still kind of, her whole side story with the hacker is just not that interesting to me. It's her being tempted back toward a life of crime. I don't know, it just didn't, I was not a fan of it, because again, Taylor as a character has not been great for me this season. So to see her sitting there, maybe I should consider doing something illegal to spy on this guy. I mean, obviously it ended well and they managed to take the guy down despite losing the case, but it still just felt like, really, Taylor? That's all it took, was just this one moment with this hacker, and you're like, you know what? Maybe I should go back. That was kind of fun. It just felt kind of stupid, and especially considering she has a kid that she needs to care for. I kind of figured that would be her reasoning, as far as like whenever the hacker said, I can't believe you did this whisper or whatever it was called, and now you're just out of the game. I thought she was going to come back with, I have a kid to think about now. But instead she's like, I guess I did turn into a soccer mom, didn't I? Just stupid. But anyways, as far as Marissa is concerned, though, I really like the fact that it wasn't as easy as Bull just throws all this stuff at her. Hey, you know what? I see you now. I see you now. I hear you now. So here's all the stuff you wanted. It wasn't that easy, because as she pointed out, she never asked for her name on the door because she didn't really think she wanted it. But then this guy offers it to her, and she realized that is what she wants. And not only that, she wants somebody to appreciate her to the point of, you don't need to ask what I want because you're already willing to give it to me because you want to keep me around. That is the big thing. And I think that's something that Bull was not doing. So fair play. I think it was one of the better written scenes between her and Bull this season, because so far it's just been kind of bickering and arguing, and not fun bickering and arguing. It's been kind of like, okay, Bull, come on, dude, wake up. So I'm kind of glad that even though she was kind of willing to go back to him after he offered her all that stuff, because I'm sure in the moment it felt really good to finally be recognized and to have him say, here's all this stuff you wanted. But I'm really glad that they threw that little bit in and basically said, no, Bull, you can't just, hey, let me throw all this stuff at you after I've already ruined this relationship. You have to respect her more than that. You have to actually make an effort and realize that she's there, realize what she's doing for the team, and give her what she deserves. Give her the respect she deserves. Like, it's what I've been talking about a little bit. Obviously, I've been talking more so about the cases, but this idea of, well, we can just fix anything. Anytime we make a mistake, anytime we screw something up with a case, we'll figure out another way around it. We'll figure out how to save this case. We'll figure out how to still get the verdict we want. Even in this scenario, they didn't necessarily do anything wrong. Like, there's not much they could do to win that case, but there was still it's okay. We weren't really looking to win this. It's more so about the principle of it. And then they still find a way to take down the bad guys in the end. it doesn't feel like there's any consequences. This is consequences for Bull. He had multiple times this season, though, to see her and respect her, and he consistently just ignored it. Consistently did not pay attention, consistently basically screwed up. And I'm glad it was not as simple as he just throws all of this stuff at her and boom, problem solved. No, there's consequences for this. There's consequences now where she has now found somebody that is going to show her the respect she deserves, and now she's going to leave him and go to that job. I think it's a good finale for that story, at least for now. Obviously, there's probably going to be some Bull trying to win her back, all of that stuff. She's probably going to have that little bit of regret, because I do think she's going to miss working at TAC. She's going to miss the people there. I do kind of like the friendship that she and Taylor have formed, and I did feel that moment a little bit whenever Taylor said in this episode, I'm worried you're going to leave us. I do think there's that friendship that will kind of attempt to draw her back, basically. But yeah, I think it's the one thing in this episode that worked, because they decided, you know what, we're not just going to let this be a simple solution. We're not just going to let this, boom, we're solved. It's going to be something that Bull's going to have to realize, hey, you screwed up. You did wrong. You didn't do justice by her, and now you got to pay for it. So with all that being said, though, I think that's about it for these 3 episodes. There's not much else I can think of from this one. So with all that being said, though, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 3 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Bull reviews. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. I will talk to you all later. Peace out.